In the musty halls of the pizzeria, 5 animatronic creatures lurk, trying to find their next prey. You. Given just the description of the game, it's hard to understand why Five Nights at Freddy's is as terrifying as it is. So today I'm going to play the game in order to figure out why this iconic game is... Wait, do I not own the first FNAF game? Huh? Why? I own all of the other games. So, I guess I'm going to look into why the second game is so terrifying. Because the dread comes not from the jump scares, which are what people focus on. Those may be startling, but it doesn't reflect the real dread they may experience while playing the game. So when the game opens up, immediately the first reason why is noticeable. The game's sound design is brilliantly executed. In the game, the only thing you hear is the buzzing of your fan and your phone call. This immediately creates an uneasy feeling that something is just off. Later on though, this complete lack of noise is contrasted with the use of sound cues when the animatronics move. The call of BB, hello, the nuts and bolts of Mangle, and the clings of the vents being key examples. The biggest one is the sound cue that occurs when the animatronics are standing close to your room. That being the only form of music in the gameplay, minus the music box of course, it massively increases the terror value that you get. When you're winding up the music box and suddenly just hear that music, you're filled with terror trying to figure out where they are. And especially if it's your first time playing, then you don't know what any of these sounds indicate. It would be like if a character in a horror movie could hear the music right before they got attacked. That easily leads me to my next point, the unknown. Many people know that the unknown is the biggest fear that most people have. That horror movies lose a lot of their fear near the end when the monster is revealed. So FNAF uses this to its advantage. It tells you very little in the gameplay, only telling you 2 things for the first night. Use the mask to prevent animatronics from attacking you, and wind the music box. It doesn't tell you what's in the music box or where the animatronics will attack you from. Other than those 2 pieces of information, you're left in the dark. But even as you learn what to do on the first night, there are 3 elements that are used to build a sense of panic that doesn't go away over time. The clock, the music box, and the battery. Those 3 elements being hidden by either rounding to the nearest 4 or 6, or only being available on one screen depending on which one, makes the game so much more terrifying. Imagine if instead of a clock with only the hours, you had a clock with the exact time on it. It would be so much less terrifying because you know exactly how far away you are on that night. You'd have a lot less fear of being cornered with almost no power, hoping that you're almost at 6, unsure of how long is left on the music box. The music box also being only on one screen with an unstoppable animatronic, the puppet, makes it so that you're so much more terrified when you aren't looking at it, that it's almost out. It sort of replicates that feeling in the first game that you get when it's almost 6 and you hear Freddy singing the song, so that even if you know that you'll survive the current animatronic, you're hoping that you'll have enough time to get back to the music box. Lastly, if you had the exact percentage of power like in the first game, then you wouldn't be as worried every use that it would be your last time once you have 25%. This causes everyone playing the game to try to conserve their power during the entire game and not just during the end, which helps maintain that fear of the unknown, because the next element is the thing that actually kills you. The animatronics. The animatronics have a very weird way of moving, meaning that you'll never really know where they're going to go. Watch this video in order to get a more in-depth analysis of how they decide to move. But Scott also harnessed the unknown in more ways than just their movement by also designing each of the animatronics in their own unique way, so that way when you encounter them they feel like they could do anything, even if they mostly work in the same way. This causes you to be much more terrified by them each time you encounter them and maintain that fear of the unknown throughout the entire game. But in this sort of game, there's another key element. In later nights, every single element is used in order to play the game more effectively, unlike some horror games where the elements are just thrown in there to make you more scared. So, to recap, the important elements are sound, the use of no sound at the beginning contrasted by the use of sound cues later on, the unknown, from not knowing what certain sounds mean, to not knowing how much longer is on the music box, to not knowing how animatronics may work differently than each other, randomness, with how the animatronics actually move, and lastly, importance. Every single element has a use either immediately or later on. That's all. Signing off for hopefully not the last time, and hopefully on time today, because I'm recording this at 8:25, so only got like 3.5 hours to do the editing. someone who is never on topic.